Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Young here and welcome to a Metal Gear Solid 5 gameplay analysis. Today I would like to analyze the mother base portion of the 30 minutes gameplay presentation. I am going to refrain from repeating anything that is obvious or already explained by the developer commentary as much as possible, so I do recommend you watch the mother base portion of the 30 minutes gameplay presentation if you haven't done so yet. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Mother Base is no longer just a backdrop like in Peace Walker, it is now a physical location that players can physically walk around. Best of all, Mother Base in Phantom Pain is fully customizable, and the goal is to allow players to build a base that is unique to them. According to the developer commentary, Mother Base starts out as one small platform, so what we're looking at here is a Mother Base that has been built up quite a bit for demonstration purposes, so don't expect your base to be this large until much later in the game. The first thing that caught my eye as Snake flies through Mother Base are these hangars found throughout the various platforms. As soon as I saw them, one thing that came to mind is this scene from last year's trailer in which we get to witness Snake manning a mini Metal Gear-like mech. Prior to seeing this gameplay presentation, I could not deduce what this facility was, but now it seems highly likely that we're looking at the interior of one of the hangars found throughout Mother Base. The red lighting and the interior design are dead giveaways that this is somewhere in Mother Base, but what proves that this is the interior of one of the hangars found in the gameplay presentation is the large fortified door in the background, which not only seems to be about the same shape and size as the hangar doors outside of Mother Base, but also features the same black and yellow stripe pattern on the sides, top, and bottom. A better angle of the interior can be seen in Huey's torture footage, which not only shows a wider view of the hangar door and its black and yellow stripe pattern, but also shows a clear view of these lines on the floor that extend all the way outside, which can also be seen coming out of the hangar doors in the gameplay presentation. So bottom line, the scene showing the mini Metal Gear mech and the scene showing Huey's torture most likely take place inside one of the hangars found throughout the exterior of Mother Base. It also seems as though hangars won't just be used for storage and maintenance of weapons and vehicles, but also for enhanced interrogation. As Snake continues to fly around Mother Base, we are shown some of the things that can be placed throughout the various platforms. Up here, for example, we can see vehicles that have been Fultoned back to base. Players won't just be retrieving small vehicles like Jeeps, but also larger vehicles with formidable firepower like this BTR. I wonder if these vehicles are placed automatically throughout the base, or if they are placed by the player. Below the vehicles and in front of this hangar lies a shooting range. Something that I noticed was that throughout the presentation, the shooting ranges are all placed at the edge of the platforms facing towards the ocean and away from any Mother Base platforms. This was obviously done to avoid any accidental friendly fire or shooting of Mother Base property, but I wonder if this was a conscious decision made by the individual who customized this base, or if the game's base customization system will restrict where certain objects can be placed. Because so little is known about the Mother Base customization system, it's hard to say how much of what we are seeing here was conceived by the player and not by the game. Moving on, here we get to see a Diamond Dog soldier using a vehicle to get around Mother Base, indicating that Fultoned vehicles won't just be there for decoration. Once Mother Base becomes large enough, players will likely want to use vehicles like Jeeps to get around quickly and efficiently. Now I've got to wonder, what happens if players drive towards the edge of the base? Will Snake actually fall off, or will there be some kind of invisible wall? My personal guess is that Snake will fall off, and then a short cutscene or transition will play showing Snake getting back to base, whether it be by himself or with the help of his recruits.
Is that everyone's Mother Base will be unique.
Next, I would like to point out these keycard-enabled doors in the background, which can be spotted all around Mother Base throughout the presentation. Most striking about these doors is the fact that they have a very similar design to the ones found in Big Shell. I've already discussed other resemblances between Mother Base and Big Shell in previous videos, such as their identical color scheme and similar architectural structure. To me, these resemblances presented the possibility that Big Shell's design might have been inspired by Mother Base. Perhaps the similar door designs further corroborate this theory. Now, until we know to what extent Mother Base can be customized, there is always the possibility that the game's customization options were extensive enough to allow Kojima to customize his own Mother Base to resemble Big Shell. If it turns out that customization options include the ability to choose platform shapes, color scheme, or door designs, and if these customization options are extensive enough to make each player's base look unique, then there doesn't necessarily have to be a connection between Mother Base and Big Shell. So until there is more clarification on the depth of the base customization system in Phantom Pain, I'm going to reserve judgment. Now, what excites me most about these doors is the prospect of being able to go inside Mother Base's interior. Unfortunately, we've only seen Mother Base's interior in cutscenes, which worries me a bit. It would be a bit of a letdown if only Mother Base's exterior is available for exploration, so I really hope these doors open. One last thing I would like to point out before Snake lands is this one soldier coming out of the chopper. A possibility is that the soldier has returned from some kind of outer ops, since the developer commentary does hint at recruits being able to engage in missions of their own.
While you're out on your missions, your men may be engaged in missions of their own, or they may be back here at Mother Base engaged in training.
Alright, so let's fast forward to where Big Boss lands on Mother Base. Since players are no longer sent back to a menu after extraction, many of you might be wondering, how will players manage Mother Base in Phantom Pain? Simple, players will now be managing Mother Base via the iDroid. In Peace Walker, there was a clear separation between Snake being in the field doing missions and Snake managing Mother Base. The player would be controlling Snake one moment, and the next they would be sent to a menu-heavy interface. Such separation is no more thanks to the iDroid. Think of it as Snake carrying with him a portable version of the entire Mother Base interface from Peace Walker, making it unnecessary to break away control over Snake from the players. No matter where players are, in the field or back home, they can pull up the iDroid and manage every aspect of Mother Base. After receiving a warm salute from his comrades, notice how when Snake approaches one of them, the CQC icon pops up for a split second. It seems as though at any time, players can walk up to one of the recruits and perform CQC on them. We can get a better view of this if we skip to here, where we see the CQC icon pop up as Snake approaches the POW he rescued from Afghanistan. Now, the developer commentary does mention in the presentation that players can engage in sparring matches with recruits to increase their stats and skills, so perhaps performing CQC on recruits is a way to invite them to a sparring match. Here is a close-up look at one of the many shooting ranges scattered throughout Mother Base. As mentioned before, shooting ranges in this base are placed in a way that shooters will be shooting towards the ocean to avoid any accidents. And again, it's hard to say whether this was a conscious decision by the player or if it's a restriction enforced by the Mother Base customization system. The player proceeds by showing a few of the things that can be Fultoned from the field, such as this anti-aircraft gun, this container from Afghanistan that contains raw materials, and vehicles such as Jeeps and BTRs. Something that I've noticed is that the tagging system is disabled in Mother Base, since in the field, using the binoculars like this would result in the vehicles being tagged automatically. Also, if we go back to a previous part of the presentation, the POW that Snake rescued doesn't get tagged even after the player uses the third-person zoom feature introduced in Ground Zeroes, which should also tag targets automatically. It's hard to say if tagging was disabled during the Mother Base portion for demonstration purposes, or if the developers decided that tagging was an unnecessary feature to have active inside Mother Base. Moving on, we are shown a platform that is currently under construction. I wonder what the advantages of constructing more platforms are. Perhaps more platforms means increased personnel capacity, and increased personnel capacity would mean higher levels for Mother Base's various units. Now, something that I find peculiar is how far away the platform is being constructed. It just seems a bit out of place compared to the other ones, which seem to be much closer together. I wonder why that is. We are then given a close look at these mysterious white UAVs that vastly resemble the kidnappers from Peace Walker in terms of design, but when it comes to the UAV's color scheme, that's one more thing we can add to the list of resemblances between Mother Base and Big Shell, since in terms of color scheme, it definitely resembles the ciphers found in Big Shell. As mentioned before, either Kojima is hinting that Big Shell's design was inspired by Mother Base, or he simply customized his own base to resemble Big Shell. Again, it all depends on how extensive Mother Base's customization options are, since there's always the possibility that base customization will be extensive enough to allow players to choose the color scheme of these UAVs. We are then shown Ocelot chilling nearby, who greets Snake by performing the same hand gesture from the intro cutscene of the Afghanistan mission. It's good to know that players will be able to interact with key characters who are recruited to Mother Base. So far, the only key characters we know who will be part of Mother Base are Kaz and Ocelot. I would like to think that returning characters like Huey will join Diamond Dogs in the long run, but I've only seen animosity displayed towards him, so it's hard to say. Soon enough, Mother Base becomes engulfed with rain, demonstrating that the day and night cycle and the dynamic weather system are ever present regardless of location. Something that's very impressive is the way everything actually becomes wet. As soon as the rain starts pouring, everything from Snake's clothes to Mother Base's platforms gradually become glossy, selling the illusion of a rainy weather quite well.
And the weather will change now.
To end the demonstration, we are given a glimpse of what happens when Mother Base is under imminent attack. Something that bothers me a little bit is the fact that CP, or Command Post, has the exact same voice as the one from Camp Omega.
All fire teams, this is CP. We're under attack. All units to combat position. All fire teams, this is CP. All units to combat position. Repeat, all units to combat position.
I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it does seem a bit lazy to me, especially considering that it's been 9 years between Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain. Now, keep in mind that this is still an early build of the game, so the voice and dialogue could change in the final version. Morpho also seems to have an identical voice and dialogue to Ground Zeroes.
This is Morpho, arriving shortly at LZ.
Morpho's incoming.
This is Morpho, arriving shortly at LZ.
Which doesn't bother me as much, but I still wish they would change it a bit to really sell the fact that it's been 9 years. Anyways, back to the imminent attack. Perhaps this right here explains why Snake is manning this mini Metal Gear mech inside Mother Base in the final scene of last year's trailer. Previously, I've always just figured that the mech was simply being prepped to be deployed into the field, but since we now know that A, Diamond Dog's base of operations is an offshore facility, making it more difficult to deploy such a weapon into the field, and that B, it's possible for foreign forces to attack Mother Base, the most likely possibility seems to be that Snake is manning this weapon to defend Mother Base against an invasion. Further corroborating this theory are the alarms that can be seen and heard inside what I previously argued to be a Mother Base hangar, indicating that Mother Base is in some sort of state of emergency, like it's being attacked, pretty much identical to what's going on in this gameplay presentation. Unfortunately, there's still a lot we don't know about this miniature mech. Is it a unique weapon developed in-house by Diamond Dogs, or is it a weapon that was Fulton from another faction? Will it be something that players will only use to defend Mother Base, or will it have its uses in the field as well? It's hard to say at this point. Now, what I'm really curious about is who will be attacking Mother Base throughout Phantom Pain. Well, based on the developer commentary, I think the answer to that question is depends.
So as you can gather from the alarm, your base in the Phantom Pain can be attacked. So Mother Base does not only provide support to you while you're in the field, but all of the allies and enemies that you make while you're in your missions or online will also come back and affect you here at Mother Base, and it's all one endless cycle in the Phantom Pain.
It's been hinted at before that player choice will have a significant impact on how players experience Phantom Pain, so I'm beginning to think that there will be moments throughout the game in which the player's choices and actions will affect whether certain characters or factions become allies or enemies. Naturally, those who become allies would help Mother Base in some way, shape, or form, while those who become enemies would make attempts to bring it down. Now, it's not just allies and enemies in the single-player missions that will affect Mother Base, but also allies and enemies made online, according to the commentary. Perhaps this is hinting at a system in which players will be able to form alliances or wage war with other players' Mother Bases. Forming alliances would perhaps allow players to share resources and lend manpower to each other, while waging war could perhaps pave the way for some interesting competitive multiplayer. Something that I personally would love to see is a mode that allows players to send a single operative to infiltrate another player's Mother Base to accomplish a custom multiplayer mission objective. The infiltrating player would have to learn the layout of the opponent's Mother Base, get past guards that the opponent has trained, deal with the opponent's security, and more, while the defender would have to build the most fortified and secure Mother Base possible to ensure that infiltrators will fail in their mission, and the defender would perhaps control the leader of the base, Snake, who could perhaps be notified by his men when an infiltrator is detected and have the foreign invader tagged on the iDroid until they manage to hide themselves again, allowing the defending player to have a more active role in finding and taking down the infiltrator. These are just ideas that I'm throwing out there, but if Mother Base's customization options truly are extensive enough to make each base unique, then these kinds of modes in which players get to invade or infiltrate other bases would not only extend Metal Gear Solid 5's lasting appeal tenfold, it would also pave the way for one of the most unique multiplayer experiences out there. To end this trailer analysis, I would like to point out the fact that the player's first course of action after the alarms go off is to get on a chopper. Perhaps this is indication that there will be aerial combat in Phantom Pain, allowing players to use the chopper to take down approaching aerial or water vehicles from foreign invaders before they land on Mother Base. And with that, I would like to conclude this trailer analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to let our nation know in the comments below your own thoughts and theories of the Mother Base portion of the gameplay presentation. And if you haven't done so yet, to be further updated on Metal Gear Solid 5, be sure to join the nation and subscribe to Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much, and Young out!